And good morning. You're flying the very unfriendly skies with Tironan. And today we have the LA 160. Okay, so I got a comment, and I'm going to take it in the spirit in which it was given, which is helpful content. Um, the fellow mentioned that he was tired of seeing me lose. And, gentlemen, I promised you when I started this that this would not be um, the ever victorious Tironan Uber super player, who can never lose. And there are people that do that sort of stuff, um, especially on World of Warships where I came out of. I love this game more, a great deal more. And I got tired of it. I got tired of seeing people showing that they win and win and win, and you go look at their win-loss record and it's 54%. But that being said, the guy said, and I think correctly, I'm tired of seeing you always lose. You're not being aggressive enough, and you're not, and you look like a poor player. Okay, well, I can see that. I can see that I had too many defeats up here. I'm going to give you a little bit of the rationale behind it, which is that I want to show both the strengths and the weaknesses of an aircraft. So I got a lot more picky about what I chose in this particular video. We're looking at the LA 160, which is a turn and burn with medium altitude capability, and that's going to give us some strengths and some weaknesses, and you'll see both here. Now, what this plane does, it has the third gun upgrade on it, which gives you very high burst damage. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't aim that well. It's not the super archy like the 37 millimeters are. It's not the high velocity gun like the 23 millimeters are. This is a 30 millimeter gun that, by the way, that guy lifted up into me. It wasn't a deliberate ram. But it makes it difficult to dial in the guns with this one. Not that it can't be done. In fact, you'll see that I have quite a bit of success with the gun. But you've got to play it a few times in a row to get to dial in your lead to it compared to the other guns in the series. This gun overheats very quickly and it cools down very quickly. And that's both a blessing and a curse. You don't get the long burst time to dial in on exactly what your lead needs to be for deflection shooting, which you'll do a lot of course. But conversely, when you're on, you do tremendous amounts of damage in a very short amount of time. Now, we're operating against GA aircraft down here in the bottom of the bowl, and that is really something that plays to the aircraft very well. It's got a 9-second turn time on it. It's relatively slow for its tier right now until you get the final engine upgrade, which will be coming in the next video that I show of this aircraft. If you'll notice, these are ground attack aircraft, and when you get on them, they go away very quickly. Alright, these are not 450, 500 hit point fighters. Okay, these are aircraft that are approaching 2,000 or above 2,000 hit points. And when you get on them, boom. That is the third aircraft we destroyed here. Okay, so we know what it does well, and sitting at the bottom of the valleys, where things have to twist and turn, and boom and zoomers can make passes, but they have to make careful passes and careful long strokes that allow them to get out of that bowl very quickly. That is a role that works very well for this aircraft, especially if you're defending an area or taking an area. It does well in furballs. Where it does not do well is in high altitudes and open skies. It's too easy for the boom assumers to line up on you. Alright, so we're approaching into a furball. But this is the kind of area that the plane excels at. You're going to, of course, have to spend a lot of time and a lot of effort keeping an eye on your backside the entire time. Now again, you know, it's just a few seconds of burst and your target's gone. And you have the turn capability to take care of opposing aircraft in most cases. There are some exceptions. And you'll see in here later that I get involved with a KI 162-2, I believe it is, which is an extremely turny aircraft. Alright, you'll notice that we were dealing with the boomer zoomers looking for the free lunch. When they get to play their game, they get to play it very well indeed, and this is, of course, relatively open area, and I'm not down that low. Again, this aircraft is all torn up now. And that's the end of that. Okay, we've captured the area. And you notice that I offset a little bit when we came through on the close. If you follow your cannon's trajectory into, or you're following the shells into the other aircraft, you'll have a collision every time, and the robots are never going to avoid that. They've got nothing to lose here. Alright, this is the aircraft I was talking about. You'll notice how turny it is. And he is doing everything in his power to avoid the shells. And this is a gun that, like I said, is a little difficult to dial in on, especially when you're constantly having to read figure your deflections. He's making it very tough. But he hasn't got that many hit points, and especially against these guns. Just bear with him. You'll start dialing into what they can and can't do, and you'll have quite a bit of success with them. Now, this is dangerous territory for this particular aircraft because it's not that quick of an aircraft, so it's very easy for a boom zoomer to come up and get you.
Keep it up. Victory is almost ours.
We've got a nice long lead at this point. We've very successfully taken 2 bases. At this point, we're just doing a solo stock of this aircraft. There he goes. He didn't have a lot of hit points to begin with, so a couple of cannon strikes are more than enough to deal with him. Now, we are a little bit above our altitude. We're coming on back down to deal with the ground attack aircraft that are trying to take the airbase back. And here comes the free launch guys. Yeah. All sorts of aircraft in this area. Alright, so there's another ground attack aircraft, and he's working with a boom zoomer. And we have a third aircraft on our tail. This is dangerous territory. And we get wiggly. Searching for a target here and trying to stay alive.
Enemy aircraft are destroyed.
Alright. Survive that. Coming up, we'll take care of the bombers here. And this actually is very historical. The Soviet aircraft were in their armaments, you can tell, were very much tuned towards killing bombers. This is entering into the area of the Cold War. And that wraps that one up. Did pretty well this time around. All right, let's get back to hangar. We'll see what we actually did. All right. Pretty good score there. By any stretch of the imagination. Got really good experience. Free experience over 100,000 silver. And hats off to the guys that did well on our team and on the other team. Excuse me. Okay, so the LA-160. What do I think of it? And we are now approaching the last upgrade. It's an interesting aircraft in as much as it is a true turn and burn in an era where turn and burns, in my opinion, are not all that useful. And you'll see that more and more. The last of the great dogfighters was the you're in the area where the next upgrade is going to be the F-86 and the MiG-15. And despite what they show in this, they were the preeminent fighters of that particular era. And this is a lead up, and you can see it in the advancement of Soviet aeronautical engineering. This is really pointing very strongly towards the MiG-15, the LA-15. They're just great aircraft. Why you hear so much about the MiG-15, you don't hear much about the LA-15. That comes down to something called ease of manufacture. The MiG-15 was easy to manufacture, could do everything the LA-15 could do. The LA-15 was not so easy to manufacture, even though it was the equivalent of a MiG-15. Well, if you get two aircraft of similar performance and one's a lot easier to manufacture than the other one, you do pretty good. Now here we can see the the cannon. And what you get in the last upgrade is the 300 damage per second per gun. So you're getting 600 damage per second. You're getting the 2,300 feet of range. You get very high burst damage. These things are doing 300 rounds per minute, and you have a pair of them. So they're spitting out some serious cannon rounds. They hit very hard when they hit. But it doesn't give you a lot of time to dial into the sight, as I was mentioning earlier. Dial in your deflection so you're getting the right hits. That's something you're just going to have to get used to if you want to have any success with the aircraft at all. Okay? And I found it somewhat frustrating because you make 3 cannon changes in a fairly short time. And so this is one, the more you play it, the more successful you're going to be at it as you dial in with your weapons. That being said, it's a fun aircraft to play. And it's a fun aircraft if you have a good team and you can get into a furball with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun defending against GA aircraft with this aircraft because you do not have to sit behind the ground attack aircraft and hope that your guns take it out before the tail gunner takes you out. He has a lot of options. You can go vertical on them. You can go horizontal on them. You can S-turn, beam attack with him. Really good aircraft for that. And the tighter the maneuvering situation is, the better off you are, because that bomber's also having to deal with it, and he's going to be very limited in his maneuvers, as you saw in the earliest part of the video. And that presents you with the opportunity to really go after the guy in ways that he has no answer for. And so you can make a good use of it. You're going to find that it is somewhat slow, and even with the top engine upgrade, it's going to be up there with all the other turn and burn aircraft at about 560 miles an hour, 900 kilometers. You're going to find just one or two aircraft that can outmaneuver you, but they're few and far between. So you got a pretty good shot at that. Where you're really going to start feeling it is if you get up too high, or you are too open an area where boom and zoomers can come in at extremely high speed and take you out. You guys have seen the F-94, the ME-262 HG2 is going to be very similar. Although it's turning into 94, but tremendous amounts of firepower coming out of the front end. There are quite a few aircraft out there. The Banshee is another one. These things are spitting out 1,800 to 1,400 DPS. If you're in front of them for very long, they're going to kill you. Conversely, if you see them coming in, you can pull some maneuvers, and if you'll pull an early S-turn on these aircraft when they come in, you can find yourself right on their exhaust pipe. And then, my friends, you get to have all the fun in the world with these aircraft because they can't get away from you. They can try to accelerate away from you, but you have 600 damage per second, and that is plenty in this game with fighters. Okay, they're very high alpha damage. They will dish out tremendous amounts of punishment in a very short amount of time. And all you have to do is let off that punch key for just a few seconds, because they also, blessing upon them, with this aircraft, they deheat, for lack of a better term. They cool down very rapidly. So you get your guns back in just a second or two, and you can make good use of that. I want to take a minute and thank you for your comments, and believe me, I do not mind negative comments. Just be respectful. Okay, if there's something you're seeing that's really beginning to drive you nuts, let me know. We'll address it. This is Justin. This one's for you, to let you know that I heard you. I appreciate your comments, and I take it in the spirit of this, given that you saw this as a deficiency, and we'll take care of it. And so we have. Some other points about this: I want you to like the video, and I'd like you to subscribe. We need all the subscribers we can get. And I thank you for flying the very unfriendly skies of Tironan. We'll see you tomorrow. Y'all have a great day, and I'm out.